Hey guys, what's up? Happy Sunday, or Monday if you're watching this on Monday. I first want to start off this video by saying everything that I'm about to say from here on out is probably extremely biased to me because of the things involved in what I'm about to talk about. But not only biased because I love the show, but because I can't stand when people criticize something based on the simplicity of it. As a writer, I understand the fine-tuning, the little details that go into what writing relationships between characters is, and how it's so much more than what you see on the surface and requires more in-depth analysis than just a simple brush off because it's similar to something else. So I'm going to talk to you about the people who keep criticizing the CW network's new show, Rain. First off, I love this show. I think it's really fantastic. It's really well done, and I love the cast of people that they've chosen to do this show. A really great set of actors that I think fit well into their characters on the show. The first thing I'd like to comment that the critics keep talking about is that Mary's hair is supposed to be red. The actual Mary, Queen of Scots' hair is red, but Adelaide Kane, who's the wonderful and amazingly, gorgeously pretty, beautiful actress, and if you don't think so, you're messed up, who plays Mary in the series, her actual hair is brown, or almost pretty much black, I guess you could say. And so they're having an issue with that, and I'm like, if you look at the interviews that they did for Vampire Diaries, which was a really best-selling book series, the main character, Elena's hair was lovely and blonde and flowing. And if you watch the interviews, the creators tried very hard to find a blonde actress that fit the part of Elena very well, but none of them stood up to the talent, the sheer talent of Nina Dobrev, who does a fantastic job, in my opinion, in the Vampire Diaries series, which is another show on the CW network that I watch and enjoy. Something else that they comment about is how the love triangle between Francis, the future King of France, Mary, Queen of Scots, and the illegitimate son of the King of France, Sebastian, or Bash, on the show, and how it's similar to the ones in Vampire Diaries. And I just have to completely and wholeheartedly disagree with that. It is completely and utterly different in a scenario and in and of itself than the situation in the Vampire Diaries. In the Vampire Diaries, there is a whole other universal thing that is going on with the relationship between Stefan and Elena, and Stefan and Damon, and Damon and Elena, and Elena and Damon, and how the three of them work together. It is a completely different relationship than a relationship that was formed in the 1500s. In that time period, love, it doesn't have a meaning. It means nothing. It is completely irrelevant. If nobles or anyone of royalty actually is able to marry another person of royalty and nobility and is in love with them, then that is sheer luck. And who's to say that it might not have happened? But we don't know because we weren't alive in the 1500s. People like to think that they were and that they know everything about it. And we cannot say for 100% sure, unless somebody literally documented down everything they ever did for every day of their whole life and was nobility, that is what it was like in the 1500s, because we were not alive then. The situation is different because Francis and Mary have been engaged. It's like pre her birth, really. They've been engaged since they were children. And Francis is the legitimate son, the legitimate meaning the son of the king and the queen, the rightful heir, somebody who has actual claim to the succession of the French throne. And Sebastian is what is referred to as an illegitimate son, or one who is not the queen's son. He is, or the king's son. He is the son of the king, but not of the queen. He is the king's mistress's son, and therefore he has absolutely and completely zero claim to the French throne. Zero claim to it. Even if, say, for instance, Francis dies or something, an uncle or anyone other than him, who isn't even probably as blood-related as a son is the king, has more right over the throne of France than him. And that is the situation. What is this about? It's not about just two brothers who like the same girl. It is about one brother and a girl who happens to be the Queen of Scotland. And the brother, who is a legitimate son of the King of France, is engaged to her. And she has interpreted their childhood love between them as something that is growing even further inside of herself that fuels the relationship between them. And Sebastian is merely, like, it doesn't matter how he feels. It could matter, if he was in love with her, it wouldn't matter at all, because no way could he ever marry her, because he is not a legitimate heir to anything. It would be like if she married just a common person, and that does not happen in that time period. That is what their relationships is like. The next thing I just have to say is the comments on the costumes and stuff being not period or whatever. And it's like, oh, I'm sorry. Did you expect the people making this show to go to England and France and Scotland and Ireland and ask all their noble families for the dresses of their ancestors or the costumes of their ancestors, to take pictures of them and hand recreate all of them? I'm sorry. I thought we were making a TV show, not taking 6 years to make clothes to recreate history for an hour slot time once a day for once a week. You have to work with what you have, and what they have to work with is the early Renaissance clothing is what they have to deal with. And they have to make modifications to those to fit not only the actors, fit the characters, and to fit the time period. And I'm sorry, I didn't know you critic people were experts at finding clothes that were Renaissance and or middle-aged period clothing. I didn't know you were experts at finding those and making those, or had any idea how difficult it would be to do either of those things. And then there's the fact that they think it's not historically accurate. I'm sorry. I didn't know this was the History Channel, and that everything had to be historically accurate. I'm sorry that we're going to TV now to find our history instead of to libraries or researching to actually find out. I'm just to know the true story of Mary Queen of Scots. I would just go to my library at my college and look up books and then read about her life. I would not go to a TV show, a show that I'm watching for the drama and for the amazing job they've done with their set. Get over yourselves. Like, why are you watching TV to find historically accurate things? Did you forget how to read? Like, did you just stop knowing how to read and how to use a library and how to figure things out or ask other people for, like, why? It drives me insane that they're being so critical. Like, okay, you don't like it, don't watch it, don't write about it to discourage other people from watching it. If somebody doesn't like something, they will watch it or they will experience it, find out they don't like it, and then don't do it again. And another thing they talk about is the makeup in the show and how they didn't have Revlon or CoverGirl back in the 1500s, but it totally looks like they did. I'm sorry. Did you want them to try and employ makeup techniques from the 1500s and then get some kind of poisoning and die? Is that what you wanted? Because that would be a little extreme, I think. And if you didn't notice, they actually did implement some, like, eyeliner techniques that seemed very relative to the time period to me. Not that I really care. I couldn't care less if they had used a pencil eyeliner. That was not what was important about the show. Like, get over yourselves. Did you want all the actors to actually look like if they lived in the 1500s? Do you have any idea how unattractive those attractive people would become? It's the physical attraction. Like, the attractiveness of the actors is just helping to aid the time period. Like, who cares if the real Mary Queen of Scots was unattractive, or that real Francis, future King of France, or Prince of France, was a sickly 15-year-old kid. No one cares. If you're watching this show to find all the historical accuracies, I'm going to say that you're not smart. You're not smart at all. Because you're implementing very not smart person techniques right now. Alright, well that's what I had to vent about today. About my annoyance with people. Alright, well I'll see you guys in the next video. Which I might post later this week. Not really sure. Yeah, catch you later. Out. Deuces.